Good morning and welcome to the Morning Scoop. I'm Gary Grotto, the executive editor of the Arizona Capital Times, and I'm here today to lead a discussion about apprenticeships in Arizona in acknowledgement of National Apprenticeship Week. And it started on Monday and it runs through Sunday. And apprenticeship programs, have offered workers opportunities to learn and master technical skills, and the program allows workers to earn a paycheck and with on-the-job training. Our panelists are going to tell you all about these apprenticeship programs and how they can put people on the path of a very viable career in construction. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Powering Arizona. It's a collaborative alliance between the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Union 640 and the Arizona chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association. Powering Arizona's mission is to provide a qualified, innovative, and responsible workforce to service their customers, community, and the electrical industry. And they accomplish that through education, integrity, experience, and strength of partnership. Thank you very much, Powering Arizona. And now I'd like to introduce our panelists. First, we have Sean Hutchinson. Sean is the training director for Phoenix Electrical JATZ, which is the leading source for training apprentices and journeyman inside wiremen for the electrical construction industry in Arizona. Sean is an inside journeyman wireman and member of IBEW Local 640, and he's been the Phoenix Electrical JATC training director since 2013 and an instructor since 1996. During his tenure, he has trained and mentored hundreds of apprentices that are in leadership roles in the industry today. Good morning, Sean.
Morning. Thank you.
And our next panelist is Corey Foster. And Corey is a workforce development specialist for the Arizona chapter of Associated General Contractors of America. And Corey is known as a dynamic leader, entrepreneur, and community advocate. He's quickly gaining attention in Arizona as a heavy civil construction apprenticeship champion and workforce development strategist. Corey is recognized in business arenas, philanthropic communities, educational institutions, and government agencies as one of the leading experts on workforce development, community change initiatives, and heavy civil construction apprenticeship trades. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, a Master's of Science degree in management from Cardinal Stritch University, if I said that right. And he's pursuing his doctorate of business administration. Thank you for being here, Corey.
Truly appreciate being here, guys.
And our next panelist is Willie Higgins. Willie is the state apprenticeship director with the Department of Economic Security. In his role, he's become an established part of the apprenticeship system in the United States. And Willie is an executive member of the National Association of State and Territorial Apprenticeship Directors, of which there's 29 members and growing across the United States. As state apprenticeship program director, Willie oversees approximately 254 apprenticeship programs statewide, incorporating over 1,200 employers with 5,000 plus registered apprentices and counting. And that's going up every day from what I understand. And good morning, Willie. Good to see you again.
Morning, Gary. Thank you so much for having us.
And our last panelist is Michael Malloy. He's the training director for Arizona Pipe Trades Apprenticeship. Michael's been in the piping industry as a member in good standing of UA Local 469 for 28 years, including more than 18 years in upper management. As a training director of the AZ Pipe Trades Apprenticeship, his role is to maintain a consistent, up-to-date curriculum to ensure students are the most educated and well-informed tradesmen and women in the piping industry. As director, Michael not only acts as an educator, but as a mentor and friend to the young membership to help them navigate through the difficulties of the workplace, school, and at times their personal lives. Good morning, Michael.
Morning, Gary. Thanks for having me.
And I want to thank our audience for joining us. And I want to remind them that they have access to the chat. So as I can see that a few people have already given some greetings to everybody here. And please post your questions because, there's probably some very insightful people out there that will help this discussion along. And so let's get started. education policy is a major topic in Arizona and probably everywhere, because most people have children in school and they want the best for them, best education. And, of course, they're trying to improve themselves as well. But the general public doesn't hear much about construction apprenticeships. And if you know little or nothing about them, you're going to be rather impressed after today. So let's start with Sean. Can you just give us a brief description of your organization's program and how it's similar to others in the construction industry?
Well, thanks for that. This program is a path forward, providing both education and employment within the construction industry. Ours in particular, the inside wireman construction industry. We train apprentices from day one. They're working at the trade, at their field of study, and getting a classroom education that complements their progress as they go through this four-year apprenticeship. They graduate with a real credential, a state certificate of completion of an apprenticeship that's nationally recognized, and a journeyman wireman union ticket that is recognized throughout the world as being one of the top, the top knowledgeable and skilled journey level worker that this industry is in desperate need of today and in the future. So apprenticeship programs today are very modern. They're very hands-on. While there is homework and tests and just feel like you're going to college, you will also have tools in your hand, and you will be learning the skills of the trade as you attend classes and as you're employed by one of our sponsoring employers.
Are they going to class for the full 4 years?
They are in school part-time for the entire 4-year program, yes.
Okay. Corey, now you do heavy equipment. Is your apprenticeship program 4 years, just like the electrical?
No, it's not 4 years. We do, I want to average about close to 3 years for our apprenticeship programs. Here at the AGC, we cover the heavy civil construction industry, so we offer a variety of trainees and apprenticeship programs. We have our heavy equipment operator apprenticeship, our asphalt paving machine operator apprenticeship program, our concrete finisher apprenticeship program, our heavy civil mechanic apprenticeship program, and we also do our construction manager apprenticeship program. Oh, and our truck crane operator apprenticeship program. So we respond to the needs of our members of the AGC and our industry partners. So any craft that a person needs for their particular company, we develop that and make it available for them. On average, about close between 6,000 to 8,000 hours. So usually around 3 years, most of our apprentices are in our programs before they reach journeyman status.
All right. And Michael, we talked the other day, and you talked a little bit about how your program has some very specialized training for the industry here. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So much like Sean's program, we're an earn as you learn program. Our apprentices are employed day one. We actually have a 5-year program where our students go to school in the evenings. It coincides with a regular school semester, spring and fall. They're 120-hour semesters. 1,200 hours cumulative is what you need as far as class time, along with 8,500 hours on the job training in order to turn out with a state certificate. We cover everything in the piping industry, from industrial plumbing to mechanical work, heavy industrial, light commercial work. We cover fitters, plumbers, welders, and HVAC technicians, service technicians. Our program, even though we cover all fundamentals in the piping industry, because of where we are and what our industry is here in the state, the semiconductor work, which accounts for probably 75% of the work that we do out of Local 469. There is a heavy focus on that industry as far as high purity work. Teach our students orbital welding techniques, high purity techniques, how to function and operate within clean room spaces, and just to how to work within these high purity conditions that the semiconductor industry has. We're very progressive as far as our training programs. I mean, we have to evolve regularly to just keep up with the demands, the new specs, the new material classes that come out. We have new customers coming to the state that are involved in the semiconductor world regularly. Two largest clients that we have at the moment right now, of course, of Intel. They've been a client of ours for 30 years now, and now we have Taiwan Semiconductor, and not to mention we have a lot of kind of lower end chip manufacturing plants throughout the state. So there is a heavy focus on that side of the industry in our program, but we do teach all of the fundamentals as far as industrial, heavy mechanical, and commercial work, anything related to the piping industry.
Now, there's a lot of benefits to going through this program, and none of you mentioned them in your short little spiel there about what your programs are about. But just here's your sales pitch. Why don't we start with Michael? Why does somebody want to get an apprenticeship?
Well, like I said before, it is an earn as you learn program. Our apprentices are required to go to school for the 5 years before they're employed. They go to work right out of the gate. They start in a pre-apprenticeship program. It's kind of a probationary period they have to accumulate 500 hours, and then they get tested on specific skill knowledge, or trade knowledge rather, and they get evaluated by our contractors. Again, like I said, they're working the entire time. They make a very good wage. Our apprentices start out at a very livable wage. They start out at $20.57. First year apprentices do. Their contractors are paying into their health and welfare. They get medical insurance probably within a couple of months. After about 120 hours, they qualify for full medical benefits. Our contractors are paying into 2 pension plans. So our students are working away at saving money towards their retirement right out of the gate. And we get kids, they come to us right out of high school, 18, 19 years old, that are already getting money invested into a pension plan. It's a very extensive program. We take a lot of pride in our program, and there's a heavy focus on the hands-on aspect. Although there is some book work, about 75% of what we teach is hands-on, because we want our students to be able to apply the very next day what they're learning at night, just the day before. So it's relatable to what they're doing out in the field. We have a very large campus. We have 6.5 acres here. We spend about $5 to $6 million annually on our training program. And at the end of that 5-year apprenticeship, when they get a state certification and they become a journeyman, like what Sean had mentioned, they're nationally recognized certifications. They can work in any local around the country, up in Canada, Australia, Ireland. And it is our level of training is actually recognized globally. It's not uncommon for a lot of our contractors to do work overseas as well. They get all of that at no cost to them. When they graduate after 5 years, they'll have no tuition costs. There'll be no debt incurred during that time. They're not required to pay for any of their school material, any books, any consumables that they might use here on the job. So all around, it's kind of a no-brainer in our mind. And it is a really good pathway. It's not just the hands-on aspect. It's not just, granted, it is manual labor, but there are a lot of pathways after our students graduate from our program to get into upper level management, such as foremans, general foremans, superintendents. We have several of our graduating apprentices that have gone on to project management and become VPs of some of our mechanical contractors years down the road. So there is a lot of benefits to the program. So.
Sean, a young kid, you were throwing around some numbers, I think, how much they can earn. That might, for a 19-year-old, they hear those numbers, it might just entice them. How much can they earn?
Over the course of their program, our apprentices here will earn gross wages in excess of about $185,000 over the course of 4 years. And put side by side to college, they will graduate to a job they already have and they graduate to a job right now. Our wages, which are contractually, negotiated, so they know what to expect. They're not negotiating their own wage and package for an employer. They're already union negotiated. So they're graduating to a job that starts at $65,000 a year, and goes up from there. Every one of the contractors that I send an apprentice to is owned and operated by a product of this same program. Meaning, you have the ability to advance through management and into top level management and ownership of companies. And we provide the tools for that pathway through their training in the apprenticeship program. So, but just like Mike's program, where it's little to no cost to come through. Ours has a little bit of a tuition and book cost to it, but over the course of the 4 years, they're spending less than $10,000 in educational costs, and again, making a gross wage of cumulatively over 185,000. While expending minimal compared to that. And again, it sets them up for a pathway of success and a really secure career. Construction trades today are the opportunities there are. I've never seen anything in the 33 years I've been around. I haven't seen this industry this open to advancement ever. Really ever, and it's been really good for the graduates.
So Willie, give us a picture of Arizona's apprenticeship program statewide in terms of the number of programs and the number of students.
Well, first of all, happy Apprenticeship Week and Arizona Apprenticeship Week under proclamation from our governor, Doug Ducey. We got a proclamation that this is Arizona's week. But right now we're catering to 254 registered apprenticeship programs in all 15. We're in 15 different industries now. We got 3,448 apprentices in the construction industry, and could be a little more. Some of the programs don't actually write down construction, they write down educational and training. So we don't really dig into what they're doing. But right now, the electrical industry is leading our charge for the amount of apprentices are participating in the electrical industry. We got the top 6 apprenticeship programs are electricians, plumbing, pipe fitting, drywall, and stuff like that. So the stalwart programs that's been around. Right now, we're growing across the state in construction. We're looking at industries that have traditionally not had training programs before, and because of this kind of dilemma that people are seeing with skilled workers, they feel that they need to have a training program together. So our team across the state, when they do their outreach across the state, we're actually working to, and with these gentlemen as well, we're working to create pre-apprenticeship training programs. We're trying to utilize our career technical education system to provide pathways for the students to come into the construction industry. And that's been reaping some benefits. And then we're bringing our community college partners on board with us with AC4, Arizona Coordinating Council for Community Colleges, just to bring the community colleges on board and get involved with this effort at growing registered apprenticeships and particular in this industry, because it's there's so many offspring occupations coming on board with, as Michael spoke about there, with the CHIPS Act, doing with the semiconductors, nanotechnology, and robotics. All those places need buildings, and all those things need buildings, and we need construction workers. Just real quickly, the information we got from the International Masonry Institute that in the next 40 years we haven't built. We need another 40% of all the buildings in the world are in this country. They haven't been built yet, so that's prolific. We're going to be looking at a growing industry, and it's a great career pathway. So anyone that's interested in it, we can do it. If I may, I saw someone put a question in the chat asking about tuition assistance. We work closely. We're part of Arizona at Work, and we work closely with all of our local area partners, which is 12 of them in the state. Maricopa County is the leading partner that provides tuition assistance for apprentices. And last year, they provided 931 apprentices with funding to help them with their tuition books and tools and stuff like that. And we're hoping to keep that momentum going. Just encouraging our programs to utilize Arizona at work with us. And that's a whole different story, but we'll get to that probably later on. Thanks, Gary.
And I'm going to take one, I was going to ask this myself, but an audience member said, what's the first step for a young adult who's looking into apprenticeship programs, and how to compare them and choose the right program for them?
So that's one of the things that we're looking to get these young people before they transition and graduate from school. They have that choice while they're in high school, attending one of the CTE programs and get into one of those training programs there. But if you can go to our website at azapprenticeship.com, and on the left-hand side of that page, you can see programs accepting applications, and you can look at the list of programs that are listed there. Now, not all of them are listed, because Michael will probably tell you, and Sean as well, and Corey, the amount of people that apply to these programs is just unreal. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds for maybe a fewer positions, So maybe 800 applicants over a couple of days for 100 positions. And the programs don't have enough people to answer all of the phone calls, so we don't put phone numbers on there. And a lot of the programs now, you can apply online and see if you can get an interview. So this is not just an easy industry or programs to enter into. This is a well-contested opportunity, so you need to be on your toes. And if you can do something to prepare yourself to be the best candidate, I suggest you do that. And talk to the program first to say, how can I get myself to the top of the list? Because if there's 800 other applicants, you want to be the best choice. So that's what we suggest. But go to our webpage, check it out, and there's the programs are accepting applications all of the time. Some are hiring right now, and you can do that.
Corey, how do you prepare yourself to be the best applicant? And, Sean and Mike, pipe in as well.
Preparing yourself to be the best candidate. Well, in the heavy civil construction industry, there are a variety of career options. And here at ADC, we have over 152 members, and about 52 of them are the heavy civil contractors who build infrastructure in Arizona and across the U.S. So one of our things that we do, we enter a partnership with the Federal Highway Administration, the Arizona Department of Transportation, and the city, the Department of Economic Security, DES programs, the One Stops, Maricopa County, and the city of Phoenix. And we started a highway construction workforce partnership, and we provide pathways for people to enter the industry. We before you start a crowd for your apprenticeship program, we have to show you all the different opportunities there's available, because there's a lot of different crafts when you see something happening, building a road or a lake or a park, or preparing for a housing complex, or a variety of infrastructure projects, a number of crafts. So we have to encourage people to enter the industry. We like to get them connected to a contractor. We do tours of projects, and so you can kind of see the different operations and then make an informed decision about which craft is best for you. And once they decide to, so with that preparation is one, having a commitment to service, because the heavy civil construction industry is all about service, because the work you do is going to drive the economy. It's going to ensure that that everything is moving in terms of building, going up, roads, connecting people and resources together. So we look at it from a service standpoint, that a person who wants to do this type of work cares about the country, cares about the state, cares about their family and their own communities. And so in this work, we look at those individuals coming in, but we don't care what background you're coming from, what educational background you have, your circumstances. We look at this as we want to show you the different options and find what's the best fit for you. And then once you figure out what that is by joining in with a contractor, getting employed, we take a look at your lifestyle. Our training programs are very accelerated here at the AGC. Sometimes we train 3 or 4 times a month. And we try to tell people that before you say, yes, I want to do this, let's talk to your family, check out your schedule, look at everything going on in your life, because it is a big commitment to commit to weekends and doing weekdays training and evening trainings to advance yourself. So we'd like to take that approach to say, hey, take a look at your life. Also, we like to look at the company, because we look at a holistic view of this person coming into the industry. We don't think about you just becoming a heavy equipment operator or a civil mechanic. We're looking at what do you want to do with your career, the next 5, the next 10, next 15, 20 years. And we think that's a joint partnership between you and the contractor to sit down and discuss where you see yourself. And then from there, we provide the training and the steps for you to get to that particular level. So it's so the preparation that it takes, it's someone who's committed to service, who's committed to working hard, who's committed to learning. So that's what apprenticeship programs do. They provide that opportunity. And the heavy civil construction industry, I can tell you there are hundreds of opportunities and companies. The average company we work at AGC can range between $500 million to $2.2 billion in operation, between 500 employees to 750 employees. So you think about the opportunity when you join a company. What can I do? Where can I go? How far can I go? How much money can I make? So all those things we like to answer in the beginning to try to say, here's all the opportunities in front of you, and then allow them to make an informed decision for their career. And then the ADC, our goal is to respond to that need and provide the training for those individuals.
Sean, when you're interviewing applicants, what kind of questions are you asking them? Because I heard somebody say, I'm not sure if it was one of these panelists in the prep call, or somebody said it last year, but they said, you're not applying for a job, you're applying for a career. So what are those, initial interviews like, and what are you looking for in an applicant?
That's a really good question. And yeah, we are providing, professional development to a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's and we take the selection process very seriously. We have very rigorous standards that we command, that we demand of our apprentices. So, the process of getting in it's not instant. For the instant gratification crowd, it takes a few months to go through the process to be selected to the program, and part of that is to sit for an interview. Basically those interviewees are convincing a board of directors to pick them over others, and we look for enthusiasm. We look for a real interest. We certainly are looking at their participation in some of the state CTE programs, as a background for them. But we just, we're, like I said, we're really looking for that level of interest, because we're making an enormous investment in them, and they're making an enormous investment in their career when they enter this program. So when they do sit for their interview, and it's, right, wrong, or indifferent, they're going to be sitting there for about 10 minutes and convincing, a board of directors and governors of the program that they should be picked for this program. And it's it's the last, when you think about the premise of being assigned to employers and having the their wages and benefits already known prior to, they're really, think about, you're making your last job application pretty much ever, getting it, applying to that program, because everything from that point forward is an assignment to a contractor. And then after that, when they graduate, they get to choose, the contractors, put a request in for a journey level worker, and they get to choose which contractor they go to work for, and it's automatic. It's not a job application every time. And it's, coming from, other sectors, having that premise, it takes a lot of getting used to, the fact that they won't have to sit for interview after interview after interview. This is their career, and this is the one interview that they're going to take that is going to set their career in motion.
Sounds intimidating.
Well, it can be.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Pre-apprenticeship, so we'll give them the soft skills and the interview skills that the applicants can utilize during that time.
How many strikes does an applicant get? I mean, how many times can they come back if they bomb the first interview or
It's a good
you know?
question because if they're showing the tenacity to apply to the program multiple times, usually at least if they didn't get picked the first time, if we see them come back on a second try and they make an improvement on the way they interview, they're almost a guaranteed entry. So it takes patience to get started, but once you do, it's a really good career.
All right. And another question, because I know, Sean, for sure you mentioned, a nominal tuition fee. Can you speak to ways families and students are funding their apprenticeship education? The nominal, I think you said $10,000 over 4 years or something like that. Do you see them using education savings plans?
So we're on the state's called the ETPL list, and basically it's a set of quality programs that education dollars can be used for. And as Willie mentioned earlier, we do work with the Maricopa County Human Services Department. They administer the Workforce Investment Act grant that our students typically qualify for. So that offsets quite a bit of that startup cost and the first semester of tuition and books and the second year of books. They all end up getting paid for, in addition to some protective clothing and a set of tools to get going. Because again, a construction worker is required to carry a set of tools with them, and it provides all of that startup cost and offsets it and give that hand up to get their career started.
And what's a set of tools cost?
You're looking about $500-600 minimal to get a set of hand tools to make you prepared for work.
Okay. Corey, what, and I know you use a different term, you turn out people who have completed the program successfully. But what's your turnout rate or your graduation rate?
Oh, graduation for our programs. Oh, it's really good in all of our programs that we offer. Since 2018, we revised and revamped a lot of our programs. It became our own sponsor for our training, and so far we have over 35 journeymen who have completed our programs, and we have over 80, close to 70 individuals who are currently in our programs right now and our apprenticeship options. So yeah, so we're making a lot of progress. Gentlemen and ladies usually stay in our programs to complete the programs, or they may switch over to a different pathway if something is not working out for them, or if they're working, they see something different. They have the option to say, okay, maybe I do. I love asphalt, but let me give underground, or let me give concrete a shot, so they can get a chance to switch if something is not working out for them in that time. But we're pretty successful in our training options. And then what we take pride in that we cover the heavy civil construction as a whole. So it's not just the craft training that a person is doing while they're in their programs. If a person's interested in becoming a manager, we provide professional coaching for them as well. Or we'll have different classes and different trainings. Like after today, we have a introduction to construction financing happening right now behind me, and where people can come in and learn about how construction financing work with companies and going into that side of the industry. So we offer a variety of options, and people are pretty successful in what they do. For us, it's the commitment with the contractors. So they're sitting down and everybody's working together trying to figure out what's the best option. It's no cost to the individual. So everything is covered by the contractor. We do participate in some grant programs as well to offset some of the costs through our Federal Highway Administration. But a variety of the things that happen is at the cost of the contractors. So we want to see everybody successful. So we try our best to make that happen.
Willie, you mentioned earlier that something about the states working with the CTEDs, the career educational and technical districts, like the East Valley Institute of Technology, and others around the valley and the state. Can you talk a little bit more about that? How you're working with them, And I think you even mentioned community colleges to an extent.
Yeah, so we work closely with Westmac. We have a couple of pre-apprenticeship programs that actually come out of Westmac, masonry program, an electrical program, and the Palo Verde nuclear generating station, which is starting to show a lot of good opportunities for students coming through that pre-apprenticeship. I think we graduated 7 or 8 into Palo Verde this year from Westmac. We have youth apprenticeship programs that we're working with in automotive. That is the ASE. Everywhere you take your vehicle, you'll see a sign on the wall. This technician is ASE certified. So we have that program here. It's a national program, but we registered here first in Arizona. And so far there's 46 apprentices came through from there into that. We created another youth apprenticeship program in Tucson for the SERS program. There's 19 apprentices that are still in school, utilizing Title I, Title II funding. So there's Title I youth funding that helps them when they're out of school, and then there's Title II education funding that helps them when they're in school for funding for their tuition. What the thing we're working closely on is trying to do the dual enrollment. We have articulation agreements with all of our programs here with the community colleges and with some of the CTE programs, but it's the dual enrollment aspect of it where the work that the student does in the school is applicable to college credit when they graduate from the school, and they continue that through their apprenticeship. Yeah, it's very beneficial. One thing earlier on there, someone asked about the 529 funding. We're not 100% sure if anyone has utilized that. I promote the heck out of it. And another way someone can pay for their is when these programs that hire a veteran can access their GI Bill to help pay for any tuition costs, but they can also utilize that for a stipend, educational or a housing stipend. So that's another benefit for them. The community colleges allow a student to apply for Pell Grant, which would eliminate them from WIOA funding from Arizona at Work. But there's other funding available that they can capitalize on. And then some grants that may become available through, scholarship funds that people do. And within the industries themselves, there's some particular scholarships. So there's lots and lots of different things happening that we're trying to expose to the industry, because a lot of people don't know and not aware that these things are available. So we can all do a better job at promoting the opportunities out there.
All right. Everywhere you look, there's construction going on, big construction, big projects. Is Arizona keeping up with the demand? Do you guys know, Mike, or are we keeping up with the demand?
It's a struggle, to be honest with you. I mean, there's been a shortage of skilled labor in this country for a couple of decades now. And that's why we're so aggressively hiring and trying to expand our programs. I can't speak to anybody else on the call here, but I'm sure they're faced with the same issues that we're having right now in manning the work. When I came on, and historically we've run about probably 600 to 650 apprentices over the course of the past 5 years. I came on as a training director, pardon me, in February of this year, and I was immediately tasked with growing that program to 1,200 apprentices, just to meet the demand. Our membership right now, Local 469, is just over 4,000 members, and we're looking at probably doubling our membership in the course of the next 5 years, just to keep up with the demand. And you can ask anybody, you can and read all the literature and look at all the case studies when it comes to labor and all the construction jobs around the country. There's just a shortage of skilled craftsmen everywhere and in every discipline and in every state, regardless of what their industry is. I think we're doing a pretty good job. There's been a huge shift recently that I've seen from what I experienced 10 years prior, where folks were kind of steering away from trade apprenticeship programs, skilled craftsmen being, getting away from the labor side of things, to where there's kind of some renewed interest, so to speak, in getting into some of these technical fields, getting into the labor side of things, joining these apprenticeship programs. I've seen a really big shift just in the past year. And of course, our wages and our benefits are very enticing to a lot of these younger folks. But we definitely need more, and it is going to be tough to fill these roles. It's going to be a struggle, and we have to be very creative. Willie has spoke about CTE programs. We partner with a lot of the vocational schools and other high schools statewide. Our organization specifically, well, not necessarily our organization, but we're working towards standing up a pre-apprenticeship program as well. That's through the building trades, and it is union affiliation. IBEW and several other apprenticeship programs are part of this. It's a joint venture where we're trying to introduce this curriculum. It's the MC3 curriculum. It's multi-core curriculum, where we're introducing it at the high school level and trying to get juniors and seniors interested in the trade. And again, it's multi-core, so we can steer them. It's not just driven towards us, to the pipe fitting industry, but to all trades, really. And we get them kind of some introductory level skills, maybe offer them some entry level certifications, and kind of as a means to get direct entry into a lot of these programs. So we're really recruiting, I think, at younger age groups and targeting younger age groups than we ever have. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I mean, for us personally, the pipe trades, I mean, we're going beyond just looking at graduating seniors and doing career days at high schools. We're looking at the underclassmen as well. We're even, some of these multi-core curriculums are even targeting kids at the middle school level too, to get them interested in the trades and help them explore their options. And that's all part of the effort to help meet the demand, you know what I mean, to increase our numbers on the labor side.
What do you guys, and I guess
Gary?
any one of you could answer it, but Michael mentioned the renewed interest in the trades. What are you hearing from your applicants about why they're choosing the trades, and what do you think is driving that renewed interest? What are they telling you?
Gary, I think part of that is the growth of the state. Arizona is growing. I think we're the second fastest growing, fourth fastest growing state across the country. Maricopa being the second fastest growing county. And you think about what's happening out in Goodyear and a variety of other cities around us. So the growth of Arizona is attracting a lot of people to the state, a lot of companies to the state, and it's driving the economy across the country. So you see here, there are people who want to work, who want to get involved, who want to be a part of this process. So I think our growth alone is sparking that interest. So people see these as viable careers, and they're gainful employed with livable wages and with a variety of options to choose from, whether vertical or horizontal construction. So I think those are things that add value to our state and and also our land mass here is so much space. And our ability to be on vacation to provide most of the year in terms of our weather, it creates a good balance for work-life balance here in the state. So I think just our state alone and what we're doing adds value, and it attracts people to want to work here. Just going back to part of the other question, and to end with this question, in the peak of construction in 2006. We had about 244,000 construction workers in Arizona. And then around this time right now, we're looking about 158,000 to 160,000 construction workers. So about 31% below the peak of construction from 2006. So that closing that gap is still a need for all of us to do. But despite that, we're still one of the fastest growing places around the country. People are flocking here in droves to come and reside in this country, in our state. So I think that alone is creating interest in the trades, and so much effort on advocacy, like from Willie's department, with the Department of Economic Security, the CTE programs, the contractors, the associations, the union groups. There's so many people who are advocating for the trades in everything we do. From the governor's office on down, you see people who are pumping and promoting the industry in so many different avenues and so many different platforms. So it's making it a lot easier for us to make our programs available to our to young people and to anyone who's interested in entering the industry.
We talked a little bit before about the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. What's that doing for, are you guys going to need to to increase your programs even more, or
Yes.
can you talk about that?
Yes, I think absolutely across the board. I want to take about a time on Sean and Michael or Willie on that, but yes, across the board, I think the replying to infrastructure bill that has been passed and all the different projects on the horizon in Arizona, I think we all are ramping up and preparing for the demand that is placed upon all of us to respond to that. So yes, across the board, I think vertical and horizontal construction, we all are out there responding to that, and it's a lot of dollars is coming in to each state, in particular to our state. A lot of dollars are coming here, and a lot of development is coming here. You can just drive around and see it. Even coming, if you're downtown, the Broadway curve, right, as it's happening as we speak now, there's a lot of things happening in our state for infrastructure development.
The programs themselves, I mean, look, it takes 4 years to create a journey level electrician. And, the programs are not very effective as far as reacting to the immediate need for workers. We're looking at a very long-term view on when we take applicants in. We're up against an enormous amount of retirements throughout all the industries that drive the size of our programs, probably more so than the reaction to work that's happening. But we do have a lot of work happening, and there's a 5% growth attached to these industries on average through the year 2030. So with the knowledge that it takes several years to make a skilled trades worker to build all of these industries that are coming to Arizona, the programs will definitely have a growth track for the next several years. And also that there's a lot of unrepresented both workers and contractors that are in the industry right now that could take advantage of apprenticeship systems through one of the specialized trades. Whether you're the worker seeking out a new career, going to your local union and a union of interest, whatever your interest is in a trade, and speaking with a union representative, or as a contractor. We all have contractor associations that sponsor these programs as well. Ours is the National Electrical Contractors Association. If there's an electrical contractor that would like to take advantage of the training for new workers and existing workers, they should reach out to these organizations and find out how do they become involved and how do they take advantage of some of the benefits that we provide to the industry overall. Because we really got to face it. Arizona's economy is really dependent on our ability to meet these challenges. If Taiwan Semiconductor or Intel or some of the other large corporate presences are coming to the state, there's a lot of reasons they come here, but if we can't rise to that challenge, we're going to be in real trouble. That could derail all of the advances we've made over the last several years.
So, Willie, let's get into the area of public policy a little bit with these apprenticeship programs. And, I was looking at the Secretary of State's website this morning, and I just did a quick count, just scrolling down. There's going to be as many as 30 new true freshman legislators next year, out of the 90 that we have. So, what should they know about the construction industry and apprenticeships, and how can they help? If I'm sure you're going to be having discussions with all of them and the governor's office and all that going on, but
we have a dedicated staff that deals with all legislative practices with the state. We don't actually speak to them. Our colleagues here that are on this call will have representatives that will, I'm sure, educate those legislative people to promote registered apprenticeship. But realistically, we were growing exponentially here. There was an article released yesterday by the Washington Post that showed we're growing female participation in construction. We're only lagging behind Washington, D.C. And that's because of all the work that these gentlemen and their colleagues have done promoting opportunity. Because there is such a shortage of occupations out there in the construction, or shortage of opportunities for female participants, just promoting to our community-based organizations and getting all them involved. We are seeing a growth for female participations in the construction industry. But as far as legislative stuff, we don't really deal with it. We just have to show them that this is what registered apprenticeship is. And they've got their own cliche sayings of work-based learning. Well, registered apprenticeship is the #1 work-based learning program in the country, if not the world. It's the best bang for the buck for anybody that's invested in it. The return on investment for an employer is somewhere in the region of every dollar invested, $1.48 in return is gathered from that. So all we can do is show the numbers. This is what happens. This is the career pathway. These people are self-sufficient. There's no maintenance needed with them. These people are earning a living from day one, and they're self-sufficient, and they're good tax-paying citizens. They're going to buy homes here. They're going to buy their cars. They're going to spend in their grocery stores. And that's what we're trying to do, trying to grow our economy with skilled workers. But more importantly, the thing that drives me every day is making sure that all of the graduates have the certificate of completion from the state of Arizona, which is signed by the governor, the Secretary of State, the Arizona Apprentice Advisory Chair, and the state director, and then the program sponsor. That document is recognized in all 50 states and 4 territories. So someone can go anywhere in the country, as we mentioned earlier, if they're a traveling journeyman, and just, that's like having a credit card. You're starting at top dollar, no matter where you go with that credential.
And we talked a little bit beforehand. Are the people staying here that are turning out that are, I'm sure there's a few people with wanderlust, and so forth, but do you guys track that? How many people stick around in the state or move out?
Well, right now we're not tracking it, but we can see that they're staying because of all the people that are being manned on these big projects like Intel and Taiwan Semiconductors and others. The programs are not hurting for candidates. They're just hurting for quality candidates. And so they've invested in their own trainings to bring that skill level to the top. But yeah, we don't really, being Arizona is the hub for all of this work, we don't see our guys and gals leaving because there's not much, the grass is not that greener on the other side of the road when all of the work is here at this time, especially this time of the year. Rest of the country shutting down because of the cold weather. We're thriving.
The local union
Gary.
keep track on that, though. The local union office sponsors of the programs do look at who's coming, who's going, and who's working here and who's not. And yeah, there are some graduates that go and see the country. They go experience work in other jurisdictions for one reason or another. It's just, but the overwhelming majority of the graduates stay here and work here and live here. So they'll be, like Willie said, productive members of this economy.
Can you talk about upward? I know we've touched on it a little bit here in the last hour, but can you talk a little more specifically about upward mobility in the construction industry? Because people got to run these sites and run these businesses. So can you talk a little bit about that, Mike?
Well, there's, again, like I said earlier, kind of some advantages to the program and, how you kind of expand your career beyond just becoming a certified journeyman. There are we do have, as Sean mentioned earlier, we have contractor representatives as well that offer a lot of continuing education for our journeymen, for our senior members, to advance their careers and get into upper level management, become not only field supervisors, but get into, like I said, into project management roles, sometimes being VPs of operations, running some of our large scale fab shops, large scale projects. There is a lot of upward mobility. You certainly don't stagnate in our industry. If you want to just get out there and work with your hands and turn wrenches, that's great. More power to you. That's noble. It's a great way to make a living, but there are a lot of opportunities. And aside from that, there's a huge demand for that too, for supervision. and some of these higher profile positions, so to speak. We do offer a lot of journeyman upgrade classes here at our training facility. We're responsible for education for our entire membership. We don't just train apprentices here. We train all of our journeymen as well. We offer upgrade classes and certifications as far as weld certifications, supervision, you name it. And again, like I said, our contractor representatives offer that as well, and really we really try to push our membership to better themselves, advance beyond just being on the labor side of things. If you're interested in growing that way, if you want to move upward. All of our contractors, they could tell you right now, if I had them all in the room, they tell you that's the one thing that they're screaming for is the higher level supervision. And that is that's a huge hurdle right now. It's not just the labor, but it is the upper level supervision, the folks with the desire and the drive to manage these large scale projects. Like I said, there are plenty of opportunities in our industry to really expand just beyond the labor side of things.
Gary, to that in there, and one thing we love about our programs is we have our apprentices and our trainees that come in. They get a chance that we encourage them throughout the program, and in the last term of the program, they have a sit down with their superintendent, and we talk about the career, like where you want to go. And the cool thing that we do is in the last term of all of our training programs, we specialize into what area you're in. So for example, if you're a heavy equipment operator, you want to work in underground, then in our last term, we're focusing heavily on underground and all the different components connected to underground. So with that, we're able to identify who wants to become a manager, who wants to become what we call a foreman. It's going from a craft position to a supervisor position. You're going to a foreman. The average heavy civil contractor has about 90 foremen in their operations. And then you got superintendents from there, and you might have a Pacific craft superintendent, and you go up to a project superintendent or general superintendent. So there's a ladder that people can see in the heavy civil industry. And we talk about that in our one-on-ones about where you see yourself, where you want to go. And the great thing about what we do is a lot of our contractors, once we find out someone is interested in becoming a foreman, then we start their leadership training while they're in their last term of apprenticeship. So for example of that, we have gentlemen who say, I want to be a foreman. We'll add on a professional coach to that particular apprentice where they get professional coaching for 12 months of their last year of the program. Or we'll add these supervisory classes or advanced technology classes on to put them in those classes to get them ready. We'll expose them to the software that a company is using for tracking their information or dealing with employee relations and HR related matters. So we'll add that on to the program and say, these are additional elective courses you take that get you on the track of what you want to do. And then we work very closely with the HR teams to find out like what's happening with the foreman. And we provide training for the foreman as well, though our goal is to advance the foreman up to clear up spots for the journeymen when they're journeying out of the program and working in the industry. So we take that on this side of heavy civil. It's so many people grow and become managers or what we call foremen in the industry, and it's a great thing. It's something magical to see, to have a person sit down and talk about their career, and they can see the ladder, they can touch it, they can engage in it. It's a beautiful thing in our industry.
Gary, if I could just mention too, just really quickly, I know we talk a lot about the promotional aspects of upward mobility and management. There's also a labor aspect to this, and a lot of our labor leaders are also coming out of this program with a need for more people to step into the roles of business representatives and business managers and people who negotiate the contracts for our industry. They're also gaining those tools through this program as well. This is a labor management program, and there is a big labor component to that, and a big need to grow more people that have an understanding about negotiations and contracts and working conditions and wages and economies and all that stuff is born out of the experience that they get in this program. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, the other side of things, labor, education, Mike, myself, other training directors, we're all products of this program as well. And there's a big educational side to this that we grow within our industry as well. So, yeah, the management promotions and the promotional and upward mobility and management is definitely needed, but so is all of the other components for our industry. So again, opportunities are incredibly there for anyone that wants them.
And Gary,
Oh.
just want to stay
Go
with
ahead.
that. One thing we do is that I love the AGC is when the person becomes an apprentice, we let them know that we do workforce development and apprenticeship training. So we say everything that we offer to the industry is available to you. So like today we have a introduction in construction financing. Any apprentice can come in and take this class that we have, and it's available to them, and it's free of charge to them to attend. So we make sure we let them know that anything the ADC is doing, if you want to be involved, you want to be engaged, if you can come, and then we work with the contractor or getting a release of work or coming on the weekends or making it available. But that's something that we tell everybody when they enter our programs, that once you connected to us, everything we got available is available to you. And then we also ask them, we tell them that once you journey out the program, it's not over. If you need additional training for your career, come back. If you need anything else to advance yourself, come back, and we create that reality for people.
All right. Well, you guys got me sold. If only I was 30 years younger, but I know a few 20-year-olds I could send your way too. So,
Gary, there's room for you, Gary. You come on over here. There's room for you, brother. We'll find something for you.
So we've come up on an hour, and I want to thank our panelists, Willie Higgins, Michael Malloy, Sean Hutchinson, and Corey Foster for joining us today, and thank our audience and thank Powering Arizona for putting this on. And I just want to remind the audience that this is going to be up in a few hours up on YouTube, Arizona Capital Times YouTube. Send it to that young woman who is trying to decide what they want to do with their lives and how to make a living, and hopefully they'll come see you guys. And just want to say thank you, and everybody have a great day.
I just want to add, the 5 C's of Arizona, we should add the 6th one, be collaboration, and you can see it working right here. So
All
thank you a lot.
Great note to end that on, Willie. Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.